안녕하세요. Riding on the Korean wave. Welcome to Wednesday's edition of The Culture Wave. I'm Kwon So-wa in Seoul. Explore with us Korea's culture from all aspects and stay up to date with K-entertainment, K-trends, K-people, K-everything. Today, on the last day of 2025, I'm joined by both of our co-hosts in the studio. First off, Walter Lee, hello to you.
Hello, Soa, and happy New Year's Eve to everybody. Walter here, also with our other co-host. I keep wanting to say I'm here for K-Entertainment News, but we've got a special event today. I'm so excited.
Well, we are still going to talk about K-Entertainment News, but now let me introduce our usually Thursday, Friday co-host, Bella Kim. Hello.
Hi, Soa and Walter, and hello to everyone joining us today on The Culture Wave. I'm your co-host, Bella, and so happy to be wrapping up the year with both of you.
Right, we have a special K-Enter segment today, so let's get started with that. From the return of legendary K-pop idols to artists setting new global records, newcomers in the K-pop scene, and noteworthy productions on screen and on stage. Let's take a look back at the top entertainment issues of 2025. So we're going to start off with Walter, and let's start off with BTS. As BTS actually, almost every year we do talk about them, but what were the highlights?
I mean, it's hard not to talk about K-pop and K-entertainment without talking about BTS, and it is no surprise that the boys got the level of attention that they did. It was huge. BTS's biggest achievement of this year was the milestone of the remaining members completing their military service and fully reuniting as a group finally. Now, with every member now out of the military, the year marked the foundation for BTS to resume activities as a complete group for the first time in nearly 3 years.
Right. I mean, there have been various issues surrounding their agency HYBE, but ultimately the focus really came down to BTS's comeback, right?
Indeed it did. So among several issues related to BTS, their SNS live broadcast grabbed most attention with over 73 million viewers, reaffirming that the group's strong connection with their fans' armies. The members' solo activities continue to maintain global influence as well. We reported on it throughout the year with multiple entries on the Billboard charts and year-end rankings. We were expecting a 2025 comeback, but it looks like we're going to have to wait till 2026.
Well, 2026 is just around the corner, so let's wait and see for that big comeback. Now, moving to a female solo artist who delivered outstanding performances on the global stage. Now, Bella, shall we start with Rosé, who set remarkable records with 아파트, 아파트.
Yes, that's right. We could easily call 2025 the year of milestone for Rosé. She made history as a K-pop female solo artist by reaching #1 on the Billboard Global Chart and making onto the year-end top 10 for the Hot 100. And she was also nominated for major Grammy categories and also won an MTV VMA, earning recognition for both her musicality and mass appeal. And going beyond the music scene, Rosé proved her global influence with her YouTube content as well, surpassing 1 billion views. And many critics actually even noted that her musical identity became more distinctive than ever.
Incredible achievements there. And actually another standout success was by fellow Blackpink member Jennie, right, Walter?
Indeed. I mean, you could almost say the whole band as individuals had great success this year.
Right.
But among female artists, Jennie is another name you can't leave out of the talk. So continuing to hold an unrivaled position across music, performances, also fashion. She keeps raising the bar for K-pop female soloists this year. Many wanted to be like
Jennie.
So in 2025, Jennie firmly cemented her status as the solo artist by entering the Billboard Hot 100 Top 10 with her solo release and topping global charts in more than 20 countries. She also proved her worldwide popularity in numbers, surpassing 7 billion cumulative views on YouTube and over 1 billion annual streams on Spotify.
And I can imagine that 2026 will really be the year for BTS and Blackpink, all of them together as whole groups.
I think we predicted that last year.
Yes. And now, Bella, let's talk about the more recent idol groups.
And we want to kick off with Stray Kids. I want to mention them as they have set a great example for what a growing group looks like. And this year, Stray Kids made history by getting 8 albums in a row on Billboard 200 main album charts, a very first in Billboard's 69-year history.
Wow, very significant achievement there. And Walter, then what about the rookie groups that most recently burst onto the K-pop stage?
I think we also predicted this last year as well. I think we're great at predicting things. We should be predicting them each and every year. But 2 groups to watch are All Day Project, and I do remember talking about Cortez. Now, let's start with All Day Project. They set a record among the 5th generation K-pop groups when the famous debut single, Famous, topped Melon's Top 100 real-time chart just 3 days after its release, the fastest debut song for a 5th generation group. They also made it onto the Billboard Global 200 and surpassed 250,000 album sales. Now, I have to talk about Cortez, which is that 5-member boy group that debuted this year under Big Hit Music, marking the label's first new boy group in 6 years. They drew massive attention with their debut track, What You Want. I even remember singing a little last year. And their debut album, Color Outside the Lines, recorded 436,000 first week sales, the highest among rookies this year. Now, in addition, they won the Global Rookie Award at the TikTok Awards 2025, and their debut album entered the Billboard 200 as well as Melon and many other global charts as well. I knew they were one to look out for.
All right, congrats to Cortez. And really, I think this year was a year to remember for those promising rookie groups, especially because they all have these distinct identities and also clear concepts and strong concepts.
Right.
Now, speaking of which, we're going to move on to one of those growing groups, which should be actually growing, New Jeans, but they did face some difficulties this year, right, Bella?
That is correct. After New Jeans announced the termination of their exclusive contracts at the end of 2024, they spent nearly a year in a legal dispute with Adore. The court ultimately ruled that Adore's exclusive contracts are valid until 2029. During this process, the members have made different choices. Recently, Hani announced that she respects the court's decision and will return to Adore. On the other hand, Adore officially announced that they have terminated their contract with Danielle, ending her journey as a New Jeans member. Now, Adore also said that they will take legal action against Danielle's family and former CEO Min Hee-jin.
We'll have to wait and see what the future holds for New Jeans.
Right.
And last but not least, Walter, let's move on to films and stage performances. A string of movies drew attention for their box office success as well as for their artistic excellence, right?
That is correct. We talked all year about certain films, and these are my picks that we are going to choose. Sorry, no other choice. But the King of Kings as well, and maybe Happy Ending as a stage performance. These 3 works achieved commercial success or critical acclaim, leaving a significant mark on Korea's film and performing arts scene. Now, the musical, Maybe Happy Ending, delivered a remarkable achievement with a Korean original musical, earning 10 Tony Award nominations on Broadway and winning 6 awards in total. It took home honors including Best Musical, Best Book, Best Original Score, Best Direction, Best Actor, and Best Scenic Design, making it the most awarded production of the season. Now, No Other Choice. I've been talking about this since it came out. That earned recognition for its cinematic quality, as well as it was invited to the Venice International Film Festival for their competition section, along with major film festivals as well, including the Toronto International Film Festival and the New York Film Festival. Now, the film was also chosen as South Korea's official submission for the Best International Feature Film at the Academy Awards, securing its status as one of the defining Korean films of 2025. I can't wait to see if we take that award away.
Well, Walter, I think you also mentioned King of Kings, right? Or The King of Kings. So what record did that set?
Yes, that film recorded major box office success both domestically as well as internationally. Now, in Korea, it surpassed 1 million cumulative admissions in just about 19 days after its release, becoming the only animated film of 2025 to exceed the 1 million mark and ranking among the top performances at the animation box office.
Thank you for that. And as we head into 2026, we will be closely watching how this momentum will continue in the world of K-entertainment. And both of you will be in charge of that. So thank you for that rundown, Bella. And thank you, Walter.
Yeah, no worries.
Stick around.
Will do.
Hello to the viewers of the Culture Week. We are Newbies! Your brand new looking group! Yeah! Woo-hoo!
Please continue to support us and look forward to everything we have prepared for you.
Wishing you lots of happiness and a very happy new year! Bye!
2025 was a year not only filled with culture, but also significant in K-diplomacy. And culture plays a huge role in developing diplomatic ties. From art exhibitions to film, creative content is taking a larger role in Korea-France relations as the space for cultural exchanges continues to expand ahead of the 140th anniversary of bilateral relations between the two nations. Our Oh Soo-young has this report.
Capturing colour and creative energy through art and motion, Korea-France relations continue to broaden through cultural exchange. A contemporary art exhibition in Paris is bringing the works of 34 Korean artists, an eclectic selection from leading galleries and institutions in both countries. The theme is Colours of Korea, incorporating 오방색, the traditional 5 cardinal colours, among a variety of iconic colour tones.
This work behind me is by the late artist Kim Chang-yeol. He's very well known as the water drop artist. But this work was created in the early years of his career, after he had been active in New York and then moved to Paris. So through this exhibition, even visitors who are not very familiar with Korean contemporary art come in and take the time to look at the artists' lives and their artistic practices.
As such, the exhibition aims to build resonance and connection.
French audiences tend to have a very high level of interest in culture, not only in their own, but other cultures as well. Not only young French people, but also those in their 30s and 40s, and even those in their 50s and older, now have a much higher level of awareness of Korea. As a result, interest in Korean culture has grown even further, and this is not limited to one specific field, but appears as a broader overall trend.
The exhibition is one of several programs run by the Korean Culture Center in Paris ahead of the 140th anniversary of diplomatic ties. Film screenings and performances organized by the center also offer ways to engage in Korean contemporary culture. In recent years, Korean cinema and content have gained steady attention from French critics and audiences, with the growth of streaming and online video platforms. Guillaume Legosse, who has developed some of France's largest productions, describes the impact.
Completely unique. I mean, Parasite, the movie Parasite. Right. Wow, it was something so new. It was very audacious, the direction, that's for the book, the scenario, and the actors were amazing. So Squid Game is another good example, and I could use the same terms about the success of this specific kind of movie and series.
Le Gour says the appeal reflects the shared passionate temperament of Koreans and French, and their love for music and drama.
From my experience, we are quite close from France to Korea. I would say that French culture is closer to Korea than many other countries. Even in Asia, I used to say that the Koreans are like the Latin of Europe.
He is hoping to bring more popular Korean content to the French market and stage live French performances in Korea. Le Gour's revival of the hit musical Le Roi Soleil is completely sold out, with discussions underway about touring in Asia, including Korea.
Well, I'm in discussion now with some producer. We have a partner in Seoul. We did Mozart with him a while ago, and we would like to bring Molière, which was a big success in France and touring now in China. Of course, Le Roi Soleil. I mean, to establish a bridge. And that's also why, that's what I was telling you. I'm really thinking that the French market, well, European market in general, but French market specifically, is really ready to welcome Korean cultural projects.
Such collaborations are set to deepen in 2026 as part of a year of bilateral exchange.
Officials say more than 100 events have been scheduled to celebrate the 140-year milestone, with live performances, exhibitions and film festivals being staged across both countries. Arirang, Arirang News, Paris.
This year marks the 80th anniversary of Korea's liberation, as well as the 80th year since the passing of poet Yoon Dong-ju, a figure known for his poetry dedicated to the Korean independence movement during Japan's occupation of Korea. Yesterday, December 30th, was also Yoon's birthday. For our last K-Correspondent segment of year 2025, we go over to a Korean electronic musician based in London who blends experimental sounds with poetic influence, such as Yoon Dong-ju's works. So let's connect with musician and sound artist Edith. Hello, Edith.
Hello,
Hi, Edith.
Hello, Culture Gateway. Thank you for having me.
So Edith, first and foremost, you've been active as a musician in the UK for several years. So please tell us about that and how you're influenced by poet Yoon Dong-ju.
Yes, I've been in London for about a year now, but my connection to Yoon Dong-ju's poetry began much earlier. I think in 2016, I took part in a creative music project based on his poems. And that experience became a turning point for me. So through working with his poetry, I slowly fell in love with Yoon Dong-ju, not just as a poet, but also as a person. So I was deeply moved by how personal and honest his writing is. Rather than making loud political statements, his poems focus on inner emotion, self-doubt, like a vulnerability, and the quiet lives of ordinary people. That felt incredibly human and timeless to me.
Right, and Yoon Dong-ju often found poetic meaning in the smallest moments of everyday life. So in your own creative process, which moments or emotions tend to inspire you the most?
I think I'm very interested in stories, and I love films, and I also enjoy reading both fiction and nonfiction as well. And what inspires me most are other people's stories and lives and experiences, and then reflecting on them in my own way. So sometimes inspirations comes from very small moments, like sitting alone in a cafe or drinking coffee and overhearing someone talking at the next table. So I start imagining what kind of life they have or what situation they are in. So yeah, but I often write those imagined stories down. When I compose, I usually start with text fully first and then build the harmony and sound around it. And because of that, working with poetry has always felt quite natural to me.
Edith Walter here. So how do you interpret and express Yoon's poetry into music or through sounds?
Um, I usually start by focusing on the images or feelings that stay with me after reading a poem. Sometimes a smell, sometimes a visual scene, or just a mood. Then I try to express that feeling in a different form. So, for example, if Yoon Dong-ju drew something with a pencil, I might translate it into something more abstract, like board paint or like a texture. Even when working with the same poem, my version becomes a new interpretation. I also think many of the emotions in his poetry, like loneliness, self-reflections, isolation, still connect strongly with people today. So I try to bring out those images using modern sounds. In my song's Confessions, there's a line that says, 그때 그 젊은 나이에 왜 그런 고백을 했던가? And that line felt like the core of the poem to me, so I made it the main hook of the chorus. For me, atmosphere and emotional feelings are always more important than strict structure.
I see. And how do you feel your identity as an artist from Korea influences your sound and emotional sensibility? And do you plan to continue centering your work around Korean lyrics like you've experienced just now, and also vocal styles in your future as well?
Oh, yes, thank you. Living in the UK has actually made me feel more aware of my Korean identity. Koreans care a lot about style, yeah. So not just fashion, but attitude, presence, and form. And that idea of mod or like a champion, like a face, is very strong in Korean culture. So when I was living in Korea, that awareness sometimes felt uncomfortable or even heavy. But being abroad helped me see it differently. I think the global success of Korean culture is happening because this sense of style and identity is finally being recognized and appreciated internationally. Because of that, I naturally want to continue working with Korean lyrics and vocal styles, and it feels honest to who I am.
And speaking of that recognition, recently Korean female DJs, producers, or electronic musicians like you, like Peggy Goo and Yeji, have been gaining plenty of recognition on the global stage. Do you think there is a distinct strength or appeal that Korean women bring to the international music scene?
Oh, yes. First of all, I'm a huge big fan of both artists as well. And at the same time, I don't really like framing their success mainly through gender. So I don't think they are respected because they are big female musicians. They are respected because they are simply great artists. And their strength comes from having a very clear identity, style, and direction without needing to label themselves in any specific way. So that's what makes them powerful. So especially here in the UK, Peggy Goo is often the first name people mention when they find out I'm Korean. So she's someone who has truly changed the scene, yeah. And I have a lot of respect for her, yes.
And people often talk about a uniquely Korean emotional feature in music. So from your perspective, what feels most distinctly Korean in musical terms?
I see. Regardless of the gender, I think this might be a bit off topic, but I once studied traditional Korean flower arrangement, like a gokgoji, and I think its philosophy connects deeply with music. In Korean styles, the focus isn't on controlling or shaping everything perfectly. Instead, it's about the balance and between object, space, and the emptiness. So that idea also exists in Korean music and rhythm, and isn't always about the strict counting, or like a phrase can be very long, and instead of counting the beats, you learn to feel the rhythm by the breathing and the listening together. So there's a lot of freedom and inspirations and individuality in that process. And I think recently I formed an experimental group called Rito, and where we combining electronic music with traditional Korean instruments like the piri and the janggu and gengari. And through this, I want to explore how Korean musical thinking can live and live inside the modern sound.
Sounds very interesting. And finally, could you briefly tell us about any current projects you're working on?
Oh yeah, thank you. And I have live shows coming up in London in January and March. And in March, I will be performing at the Amersham Arms in London, and which is a well-known venue here, and that feels very meaningful to me. And I'm also planning to release a new single album in the first half of next year. And I'm currently working on my first full-length album. And alongside my solo work, I've been DJing across Europe and hope to continue connecting with audiences both in the UK and beyond.
Looks like a very busy 2026 for you, Edith. Thank you very much for connecting with us, and we wish you a happy new year and the best for your music activities. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And thank you very much, Bella, for spending the Culture Wave with us today.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Walter, as always. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Thank you for spending the past half an hour with us on the Culture Wave. This was the final episode of the Culture Wave. That's culture with a K. But we'll be back to provide you with your daily dose of K-culture issues with a new show, K-Culture Dive, launching on January 2nd, Monday to Friday, same time, 2 p.m. Korea time. So thank you for all your support for the Culture Wave, and Happy New Year.